Hey everyone, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez, coming at you today with a Vivi OMI update video. Mentioned GrumpyCat as well. Guys, if you're new, welcome. For not, welcome back. I love y'all. Everyone say hello to Dashi. Hello, Dashi. Commenting, liking, and subscribing is a free way to help support the channel. Non-free ways are Patreon and smashing that super thanks button down below. And become a member. There's lots of perks. And wraithax.eth domain name. So we'll start off with the GrumpyCat here. GrumpyCat had a pretty good day yesterday. Unfortunately, it was after I had already made a video, so I couldn't get all excited. I did have something to do yesterday. I couldn't go live. I couldn't go. I had to meet a friend, and then I had to. We wound up seeing Guardians of the Galaxy. More on that in a little bit. Anyway, GrumpyCat. So GrumpyCat had about tripled its volume in the last 24 hours. It had, I think, as low as like $200,000 in like a 24-hour period, and then out of RKO out of nowhere comes up, has 857,000 volume over the last 24 hours as of right now, almost a $10 million market cap. And with that, you have I think the sixth largest Pepe holder had put in about $40,000 worth of GrumpyCat. And I think everyone that watched that wallet just happened to FOMO in after him, chasing those green candles. But again, even still, this is nothing. A big announcement is coming on Monday, possibly two. I'm not sure. I'll be on the space. I'll be recording the space. I'll be going live for the space. It'll all be right here. So definitely subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. But again, you could just go and listen to it on Spaces. And speaking of Pepe, I love Pepe. I have great respect for Pepe and the Pepe community and what they represent. Again, 4chan was a big part of my life when I was younger. And even still, I still follow him on Facebook and Reddit just so we can go and get those green tech stories, those memes. There's actually and that's also why I bought 4chan token originally as well. There's actually a way that 4chan helped put a stopper to one of the ISIS operations in 2016. That is not classified. I can talk about that. That was a wild time when it happened. Comment down below if you want to hear that story. But anyway, Pepe has over $600 million market cap. Let's say if that can keep rising. Let's say if that does a 10x and it goes to, let's say, $6.5 billion market cap, which is a ton of money. Not saying that it can't do it, but it's just, I just, that's a lot. Going with GrumpyCat at a less than $10 million market cap, let's round it up and say 10 million. Okay, a 10x going to 100 million is a lot easier to do than going from 645 million to 6.5 billion. It's just, there's not as much money that it takes. There's not as much buy pressure that it takes. You have a really awesome community that's going to hodl. So again, I'm not, trying to pump this here. I'm just making justifications and reasons on why I believe in it and why I, put 6K into it and why I only put 500 into 4chan token. Right now, I might put a little bit more in the future. However, that is nothing compared to how excited I am about OMI right now. Why? Because the team has just did exactly what they said they would do, and they burnt about 5.7 billion OMI tokens from the circulating supply. Chavez, how did they do this? Why did they do this? When did they mention this? Okay, well, if you are new and you haven't been subscribed to The Real Randy Chavez, do that right now. Basically what happened, the first iteration of the tokenomics for OMI had said, okay, we want to take 10% of the profits and use that to top off the reserve wallet, buy it from the circulating supply, and this way we don't run out in the reserve. And this way it creates buy pressure. And everyone thought that was great. Until it was noted that, hey, that would probably make you a security. You probably don't want to do that. So okay, well, we need, and obviously that's one of the many burning mechanisms that OMI is going to have. You're obviously going to have OMI to NFT, have OMI to ticket, you're going to have OMI to accessory, all these different things trading in with OMI. And the Tengoku, I don't know how to say that, is going to be a play to earn game for OMI. So when they decided, okay, one of the things is not going to be available, let's try to make a substitute for that. And the substitute for that was saying, okay, what if we decide to just burn straight up from the dev wallet? It's our tokens, we own them. Why not? Now, why would they do that? What's the purpose of the business dev wallet? Well, the purpose of the business development wallet was to go and say, hey, we have 20-something million tokens in here. Depending on the price, we could sell these tokens to get more licenses. We could sell for marketing, sell for these advertising campaigns. We could, sell to pay some influencers, talk about it. And I'm not saying that they won't do those things, but because the company is making so much money, they don't need to do that. You don't you don't go and light on fire 5.5 billion OMI unless you're pretty okay cash wise. That's about $3.5 million that they just lit on fire right there. And again, for good reason. They said they were going to do that. And again, if you were to take 10% of the profits, or a bit of the profits that Vivi were to show, and you were to use that to buy back the OMI token, it would not be nearly as much. It would be like $1 billion or so, give or take $1 billion or so OMI, maybe $1.5 million. Let's say $2 billion, go crazy. This is a lot more than what they would have bought back from the circulating supply anyway. So this is probably one of the best things. And again, this is during a bear market. Like, this is the biggest flex ever. Recur just said the other day, hey guys, we haven't had a drop in 3 months. We haven't made a ton of money. We're going to close this down. Don't worry, those NFTs are still available, I think, on portal.recur.com or recur.portal.com. Either way, they're still available. Things aren't looking good for a lot of other companies in the space. And Vivi just be like, Leroy Jenkins. And they light on fire $3.5 million. What a flex. That is just gangster. And if in a bear market they decide to do that, what happens in a bull market when they're making even more money, like 10x what they are now? You have an average supply or an average sale of like 1 million gem sales each week. And 1 gem's equal to $1, so it's 1 million in sales every week. What happens when we have like 5 million or 10 million a week, and suddenly we go from a $2 billion company to like a $30 billion company? The money that's in the dev wallet, if it's not needed now, it's not going to be needed then. Like, if it's not needed now in the bear market, was only 1 million gem sales per week. I can't believe that, say that only. Then it's definitely not going to be needed when we have millions or tens of millions of gem sales each week. So yeah, you're going to have probably a decent amount of more burns from this business development wallet. They did not say that this wouldn't be a repeatable scenario, so I'm going to say that it will be. That being said, I only have 172 million right now. I will take some profits from GrumpyCat after it goes up a bit, and I will go and put that into OMI. Now, I only put about 6K in. I think it's worth about 9K now, maybe almost 10. I would wager on to say that, I will probably take a tiny bit at 30, maybe 40 million, but I really do want to keep most of it in there, because I said I would get a GrumpyCat tattoo at $100 million market cap. And if we hit that and I sell at 30 million, no, I'm getting paid if I'm gonna do that. Anyway, but OMI is forever. You can never have enough OMI. In my opinion, not financial advice. I'm going to go and get more as the months go on. Anyway, let's get to the news. We have Comics and Crypto saying, why did we decide to buy 308 lightsabers on Vivi Official? Watch the video below, and Comics and Crypto, you can go watch them on YouTube. They talk about, buying sabers. Well, they mentioned a Vanity Fair article from almost 10 years ago in 2014, where they said 10 million lightsabers are sold every single year. And that was in 2014. That was before The Force Awakens. That was before the movie that's supposed to be between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. I forget the name of that. Anyway, it was really good. It's really good. Can't remember the name of it. I saw it in 2016. That was before, like the new trilogy. That was before The Mandalorian. That was before all these amazing things. You have this new generation of kids that love Star Wars. Star Wars is very good at getting each new generation of kids and young adults to fall in love with it for different reasons. And, it's the same way that each older generation thinks that the younger generation, I'm just talking in real life, they think they're lazy and they're undisciplined. Okay, every single older generation thinks that about the next one. Gen X thinks that of, Gen Y thinks that of Zoomers. And, you kind of have the same thing with Star Wars. Oh, Luke was the best, the prequels suck. And now, looking back on it, hey, the prequels weren't that bad. Did it have some bad qualities and aspects to it? Yes, there's some things that, whatever. But people were like, oh, I don't know, everyone loves Hayden Christensen now. I don't think anyone ever had an issue with Ewan McGregor, but people like it for what it is. And, recently the new Star Wars trilogy got some hate, and, I guarantee you in 10 years, like, oh, you know what, it wasn't that bad. I think history will be very kind. But anyway, they decided to go and do that. Purchased 308 of them, and then Dr. Profit, the giant flex master himself, says, my thoughts are pretty similar, and he shows that he has 239 of them. So that's a lot. That being said, that's also the reason why I got so many Lukes, which is another thing that I wanted to go over. So I did post this over on the Twitter, and I will read it to you right now, so I find it. I say, a few years ago, I was buying first edition PSA 10 Blaine's Charizards for $400 US, then 600, then 1,000, and then 2,000. I had sold originally when it was around 6,000 per Blaine's Charizard, so I could pay for my trophy Kangaskhan. But it did, after that, reach a peak price of 13,000, had confirmed sales up there, before it came back down. Now, at each level that I was buying, from 2018 through 2020, everyone kept saying, dude, Chavez, that's enough. Dude, that's too much. Why are you buying at all-time highs? Now, just because something is at an all-time high doesn't mean that it's overvalued. It could still be undervalued. That's what I see a lot of Vivi NFTs are. Some creations of Vivi Official were in this bear market, and these collectibles are its all-time highs. The new R2-D2 and C-3PO, all forms of Miles Morales, and all rarities of Luke Skywalker. They're all things that were created in the bear market. And are they at all-time highs? Yes. Does that mean they're overvalued? No. They've never seen a bull market. Now you have things like Partner Statue, with what I'm very bullish on. That's like $2,200, $2,400. So cheap in my opinion. The Todd statue, so cheap in my opinion, $400 something. Why? Because we've seen Partner Statue at 50. We've had confirmed sales up there, and we've seen Todd at like 13K. I know we've had confirmed sales above 10K. You know, it seems very silly that they're down here, but again, that's easy to predict. That's easy to say because we're in a bear market. We've seen them at those prices before. We've never seen these things like the new C-3PO, the new R2, the Miles Morales, all of them, and all the Lukes. We've never seen those in a bull market. So I said buying any of these at all-time highs I don't think is a bad idea. Short-term, anything can happen, but over the next year or two, I see great things for all of them. Now, that being said, we do have somebody with a little bit of retort saying this is apples and oranges, said that they were not making any other Blaine's Charizard variants. The first edition and the non-first editions had set my amounts of mints, meaning that, there wasn't going to be any more new Blaine's Charizards. And he's right, there were not. And he says there will be more editions of C-3PO, there will be more editions of Spider-Man, and there are already more editions of Luke on other platforms, such as Cryptoys. And I said, Blaine's Charizard was the 10th Charizard to come out. I'll repeat that. Already, Blaine's Charizard, as I was buying these, was the 10th Charizard to come out. There were 10 other Charizards before this one. I won't go over all of them, but there were 10. And if Legendary Collection came out after that, then there were 11, maybe 12, actually 13 if you count all of Legendary Collection. But I don't know if it was. But again, there was 10 before them. And I said not including the dozens that have come out afterwards. There will always be different variants of popular characters. Also, when I first bought Blaine's Charizards, there were maybe 200 first edition PSA 10 in the pop report. When I started selling them, that amount had doubled to over 400. And there's even more right now. More supply doesn't necessarily equate to lower value if the character is popular enough. And for someone like R2-D2, C-3PO, Luke, and Miles, they're more than popular enough. So even if you have more variants in the future, you're not going to take away these amazing ones. Now, the R2 and the C-3PO, they are not first appearances. Those belong to the Golden Moments. I very much enjoy them. But these are the ones that look like the characters. R2 sounds like, it's beautiful. It's amazing. And C-3PO is super scarce. Miles Morales, you could have Miles Morales Mighty. You could have, Miles Morales variants of other things. You could even have Cryptoys go and get a Miles Morales thing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't take away from this Miles Morales. And Luke, again, we already saw, I think on May 24th, Cryptoys had their Star Wars thing with Leia, Vader, Luke, and like one or two other things. Luke on Vivi only rose after that. There's no evidence to support that had. Maybe you could make the argument, if there wasn't any Luke Skywalker on Cryptoys, maybe the Vivi Luke could have mooned even more. That's possible, but it's right now it seems to have no negative effect. Anyway, moving on. You do have the top 500 Vivi holders that had just come out yesterday. So the most sold, you had Griff Collects, which sold 22 NFTs. You have Clever Jerk, my main man, who is number 32 in the rankings, the number 32 wallet in all of Vivi. It has had sold 49 NFTs, and J.S. Bowers had sold 171. Now you might be thinking, well, Chavez, you're always really bullish. You had over 230 NFTs on 3 very significant top holders in the top 500 wallets sell this much. How is that good news? Well, those are the top 3. Again, the third highest person to sell the most was only 22. Now, the third highest person to purchase the most was Thanatos at 401. Yes, the third highest purchased 401 NFTs in a week. And he's the number 7 position. So again, people with clout, people that have a ton of money, people that are super successful, they're only buying more. WC3NTE had climbed 2 spots to number 19 and had purchased 468 Vivi NFTs. A ton. And then you have the number 178, who had moved up 297 places in rank, now has 1,848 NFTs. He had bought 717. Heckin' amazing in 1 week. That is Hodler 8C48 that had bought that much. And then going off to me, again, because I had these Lukes to pay for, because I had so much other stuff going on, I really didn't have a ton of time to go and like try to get my wallet holdings up. I did purchase 22 NFTs. Most of those were the Marvel Mighties. And I moved up 1 spot to 390. A buddy of mine that was in the 101st, he was in number 101. He is now in the top 100 wallets. He had bought 88 NFTs. That is Big Bad Buckeye. So he moved 4 spots to number 97. And yeah, he had purchased 88 NFTs. So shout out to him for that. And moving on. Also, shout out to Chris Severs that had purchased his 750th comic. Good for him. So the results came in for the poll that I did. Say, after the release of the new Marvel Mighty set on Vivi, how many sets do y'all have? Now, the 4 choices were 0, not a fan. 1 to 5, some are cool. 6 to 10 sets, being like, I like them, but some are pretty expensive. And the last choice was all 11. They think they're the best. And 42% of people had responded that they had no Marvel Mighty sets, that they just were not a fan. 32%, so about 1/3, said they had 1 to 5, that some were cool, they liked the stuff that they got. Some people, it could have been Deadpool, some people it would have been Captain America, whatever. 6 to 10%, 15% of people had said 6 to 10 sets, saying like, I really like them, but some are expensive. Like right now, Cosmo's over $300, because you have to get Cosmo in order to get the airdrop of Rocket the Raccoon. Same thing with Shuri Black Panther. Shuri Black Panther's $250. Namor's like I think Namor's down to $120. But still, like to get the set, it's like $400. Same thing with Spidey 2099. Yeah, that Spider-Man, Spidey 2099 is over almost $400 by himself. So there are a bunch of sets that are really expensive to complete. So I understand that. And the 10% of people had said all 11, being like they're the best. So you do have this really strong minority of people that do like it. That being said, I did see The Guardians last night, and it was sad, man. It was a great movie. It was like this should win awards, but it was sad. It was hard to watch. I was like crying in the movie. I was like, oh god, this is horrible. I was also pretty tipsy, so I was feeling myself. The emotions were flowing. Does it change anything? When I have more money, sure, I'll get another when I have more money, I'll get another Rocket. I'll get like a second one of him. I don't have any of the sub 100s for them right now, just because I spent so much money recently on the. I'll spend another. I don't know if I showed you guys. I spent another $350 on. I did it on stream the other day, on Red Skull. It's just those early Marvel Mighties. Those sub 100s are just never there, and I do have like another video I'll try to go and talk about, and how I grade these, how I view, 4 digits and 5 digits, 3 digits and 2-digit mints. There's so few of those. I was like, okay, I'll go and get one. It posted on there $350. Like, okay, my addict shows. Anyway, that's it for me. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. Everyone say bye-bye to Dashi. Bye-bye, Dashi. I love you guys. Goodbye. Meow, 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 meow.